Hi everybody, it's Jared Rogers from Beyond Accountancy and Mitchell Wilson. I wanted to talk to you about the end of financial year processes for sorting out your super, and payroll generally, but with a particular focus on the new payday super rules. They're quite straightforward, but there's a couple of quirks that you need to be aware of. So how do the rules compare? So under the old rules, which applies to paydays up until the end of this month, June 2026, you could pay your super up to 28 days after the end of the quarter. And that deadline, so for example, the June quarter we're in now would be the 28th of July 2026, but that deadline applies to when the employee super fund got the money, not when you paid the money. So generally we've told our clients to pay a week before the 28th deadline at the very latest. Under the new rules, which are paydays from the 1st of July 2026, you have to pay super within 7 days of payday. And then again, it's based on the date the super fund gets the money. So to put that in a graphic, let's look at the paydays for April, May, and June. That could be fortnightly pays where there's 2 or 3 pays a month. Could be monthly pays, it doesn't matter. Any paydays that fell in the June quarter, they're going to be due on the 20th of July 2026. So the end of the quarter and then some. Payday super, as the name suggests, you pay your super on payday. Excuse the typo for 30 July there, should be 31 of course. You've got 7 days to pay. Each time you do a pay run, you were doing a super run at the same time. But remember, the 7-day period does not mean you have 7 days to pay super. It means you have to pay super as soon as you post a pay run. The 7 days simply allows for clearing time. And 7 days might not be enough time. So some people in the accounting industry have noted that it can take 8 days from you pressing process in the clearinghouse of your payroll software to the super fund getting the money. So if you pay super immediately, it could actually technically be late. The ATO said they're not going to pursue compliance resources on people in that situation who are technically late, but are generally on time with their super under the current rules. But what I'm saying is don't wait till the 7th day because you're definitely late. Just do a quick demo. So Xero is just one of the commercial softwares that you'll need to use. Now there's obviously QuickBooks, MYOB, there's a whole bunch of others. So go into the payroll module and we're going to go pay employees. And let's assume we've posted any or approved any leave requests and adjusted for overtime, whatever else. So say we're going to post a pay run, add a pay run, make all the necessary adjustments, then we post that pay run, which saves it to the ledger, but doesn't send it to the ATO. So after you post the pay run, you then file the pay run, which reports the pay slip to the ATO. So I clicked the wrong button there. So we're going to press file. And you need to tick a box to authorize that and it goes through to the ATO. This is a demo company, so I'm not going to do that because it's not actually connected to the ATO. But once you've posted and filed, then you pay the employees. You might email them the pay slips, but there's also a new button called Pay Superannuation. So you just click on the down arrow, click Pay Superannuation. It takes you straight to the Superannuation Clearinghouse screen, and then you'll process your super pay run. So it's not built into this payslip process, but it's just a direct link to the correct page where you'll post the super, authorize it with an SMS code, and send the money across. And you'll just do that on payday. Or beforehand, if you know beforehand, like this is a future payday, if you knew beforehand exactly what the pays were going to be, say payday might be Friday and you process it on Thursday, you can do the super payment the day before payday. That's fine, as long as it's no later than payday for it to work. And there'll be equivalent things in any of the softwares. So how do you pay super? As I just said, you need a clearinghouse. Your payroll software will have a clearinghouse service built in. The ATO had a free clearinghouse you could use where you manually entered the amounts, called the Small Business Super Clearinghouse. It closes on the 30th of June. So if you're doing your super in July, you won't be able to use the clearinghouse for that June quarter. So it doesn't give you enough time to do the June quarter. It gives you enough time to log in during June, download historical data if you need to, and maybe pay June super before the end of the month, but you can't use it next month. So essentially you have no choice but to use commercial software now. So my advice normally is to clear June super first, because there's going to be a strange anomaly with the changeover where the June quarter's super, see here, is due before the July super. So you might say, sorry, where are we? So 2 reasons why I wouldn't pay them in order of the deadline. I'd pay June 1st, even though it's pay the June quarter first, even though it's due later than July. One is that super is deductible when the money is received by the employee's super fund. So if you want to claim a tax deduction for your super for 2026, you need to have paid your super in June 2026. And for cash flow and timing reasons, you may as well do that. That's always been a good practice every year. But this year in particular, if you didn't pay June and then you made a payment to the ATO, there's apparently some loophole where you might think that's counting for July, but they're going to count it against the June obligation. So you'll find that what you think was the July payment on time is actually going to end up being late. So just clear June 1st and then just start doing pay runs every payday. So what's our summary for Payday Super? Have your software up to date, have your clearinghouse registration done. Best practice is to have already done that perhaps a year ago, but if you haven't already, now's kind of the last chance. You really need to get onto that. Pay super on payday from now on to give you the best chance of the funds getting to the employee within 7 days. Pretty straightforward. So just adjust your processes to ensure that every pay slip is accompanied by a super run and you should have no problems. And clear June super, so April, May, June, any unpaid super this side of end of financial year. And that's all you really need to know about the super payday super changes. If you're behind on super, here's my tips. Stop the bleeding and pay the June quarter on time, because at least you get the deduction for it. You'll avoid penalties for this quarter. You can't change the past. You can only catch up for now. Set up your systems for the future so you can comply with Payday Super. Don't get yourself into any more hot water. The ATO is going to use Payday Super as a chance to attack small businesses, unfortunately, so try and get out of their way. And there are official ATO forms, super guarantee charge forms they're called, to rectify late super. And if you need help with that, our payroll team can assist you with that. Your payroll software needs to be up to date. There are certain things that super applies to in the new rules that didn't in the old rules, and so you need your pay slips and your standard pay. Each pay slip line has different implications and different codes. Just need to make sure that those are up to date with the new rules. Your software provider should have a help article to show you how to make those changes, or our payroll team can assist you if you need us. So that's all on Payday Super. Your other payroll obligations for end of financial year still apply. So single touch payroll, you need to finalize that by the 14th of July, 2026. You do that through your payroll software. Work cover reporting for some states like Victoria is end of the financial year. So your work cover insurance premium is based on your estimated wages. End of the year, you report your actual wages so they know if they've charged you too much or not enough, and they'll adjust that for you. If you're reporting for payroll tax on an annual basis, I would also get that done in the first 2 weeks of the financial year while you're doing single touch payroll finalization. If you're checking your figures before you finalize, you know those are the final figures to report for payroll tax. And if you're in an industry where there's an entitlement fund, most common one being construction, make sure you've made your contributions for that quarter. And finally, you might have staff who are on award wages. There are calculators on the website where you can find the award, find the current rates, and end of financial year, while you're doing all this payroll stuff, is a good chance to check that everyone's on the right wage to avoid any penalties on that side as well. Payroll is absolutely choked in red tape, and you just need to make sure you're avoiding inadvertently getting penalties and fines. So thanks for watching. If you need our help and you're already a client, reach out to your usual accountant. If you've stumbled across this video somehow and you're not a client of ours and you want to get some help with payroll and some of the matters we talked about, our contact details are on the screen and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for your time and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.